What's good, folk? How's everyone doing back in good old Minnesota? Midwest, Central time. I don't know if anyone else ever watches these videos from like other places across the United States or the world. Maybe who knows? I don't know. But anyways, hope you're all doing good. I was about to say hope your week's gone well, but it's Monday. But I don't know. It feels like Friday to me, only because like I've had training the last 6 days. Got back to Utah this past Thursday. We did Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So like the past 5 days has been my work week, I guess, if you will, doing our fun training stuff. But anyway, here we are. Happy Monday. Um, Point of this afternoon's video is I've wanted to keep doing at least one every week, keep up with this stuff, and keep people kind of in the loop as to what to expect when you kind of get to the 121 world or 135 world, or what training kind of looks like, and maybe some do's and don'ts. Not talk about the training itself, but maybe more so of how to kind of be successful with it based upon you. So having said that, tonight's video, we just got done doing procedures training is what it's called. Procedures training for us, at least, you're given between 15 and 17 flows that you have to, memorize. Some of the flows have, task items. So like in totality is like 17. There's maybe like, I don't know, 12, 13 flows with 4 or 5 different certain tasks. Each task or each flow can have like, 2 to 10 different task items, right? So you have to memorize this stuff and practice it and, have it down pretty much verbatim for the most part. So procedures training is quite a bit, right? You're inside an FTD. It's not a full flight, not a full flight simulator. So, but you're inside a cockpit, right? And you're in the thing, and you're pressing all the buttons, you're moving all your hands certain ways, you're programming the FMS, right? You're figuring out your weight and balance and all that fun stuff. But so you're doing all the things, right? You're doing the things from basically engine start up until taxi, and then from landing till shutdown, right? You get into a little bit of the flying stuff. So this past like 5 days, we took off and we did some en route stuff, and tried to upload or load some approaches and fly approaches a little bit. But predominantly, it was more focused on get to the aircraft, right? Get to the runway, and then land after landing checks, and then shutdown checks and terminating checks, right? So that's kind of what we focused on, was that main meat, if you will. I don't like how this looks on me. There we go. That's better. I can see my nice blue shirt. But so where do you go from there, right? Our training was, we did a noon to 6 every single day, but outside of that, right, it was usually you wake up, breakfast, you study for like an hour and a half, 2 hours in the morning, you come home at night, then the same thing, like maybe an hour and a half. So you're putting in still 8 to 9, maybe 10-hour days sometimes. And it can get a lot, right? It can get a lot, especially when you're away from home and you don't, have like loved ones around you. Um, so it can get a lot sometimes. And again, the point of this video today is to kind of talk about being successful with training, but also self-care, right? Self-care, right? And the importance of self-care while you're doing stuff that is overstimulating all the time, and you're doing stuff that pretty much takes up your entire mindset all day, every day. So one thing I learned is, especially when I got back this past Thursday, right? It was only a couple days for me that kind of got wonky. Yeah, maybe a little more than that. But it's really dawning on me right now, right? So hence why I want to make a video on this. But the importance of self-care when you're starting as a pilot, when you're starting training, right? When you're really getting in the nitty-gritty of stuff. When you could be just even private pilot too, private pilot, instrument, commercial, multi, CFI, whatever, double I, all the things. It's all relative to where you are, right? When I was first doing private pilot stuff, I thought this is a lot, right? It's a lot to learn. Then instrument hit, same thing. Like, holy crap, how am I going to get this? Commercial, commercial is pretty easy. You get to multi-engine, right? Well, now I got to fly with 2 engines. So there's some weird things there. You get to see if I only hear there's 10,000 acronyms. Good luck with that. So, it's weird how like the information goes in training, and then all of a sudden you get to like the 121, 135 world, and whatever you thought was a lot, it's like, tripled that, right? But to combat that, right, is to not get out of routines that you would do if you're at home, right? And I noticed myself here during my training, especially, that I prioritize training so much that I let so many other things go on the wayside. I let, like going to the gym, right? Meditating, right? You know, maybe talking with family, right? Talking with loved ones, right? I still do those things, right? But like for me personally, right? Like my own self care, not my family or friends, but me personally, was like my meditation, my nutrition, right? And my exercise. Those things I was really good at doing back home. There wasn't a week didn't go by where I wasn't in the gym 5, 6 days a week, right? Eating the same meals every single day, getting meditation at night, and really just being like healthy and centered, right? And that in turn made my job more fun, right? I was able to help people more, right? It's like the age old saying goes, right? I'll, what is it? I'll take care of me for you. You take care of you for me, right? Same thing applies when you're at a job, right? You can't effectively help anyone if you can't take care of yourself, nor can you perform. It's just not going to happen. Um, so one thing that really came to mind the past 4 or 5 days was when I got back here Thursday, right? Um, you know, got back Thursday morning and jumped right into the training for 6 hours. That night, studied a bit. And then Friday hit, same thing, right? Woke up, studied, training noon to 6, and then right back home and studied. So like 3 days, and this doesn't sound like much, right? But I can feel the pattern starting to develop, right? Or even just 3 days went by and I wasn't doing my exercise. I wasn't, because I was just so focused on the training, right? And that's been the pattern here the past 5, 6 weeks where, here in a hotel by yourself and all you have is studying, you start to get worried about it. And the second you get downtime, you're worried that you're not studying hard enough, right? So you just study more. And then you let all the other things that are important to you go to the wayside, right? And again, important just for your own health, right? Um, so this is just more of a, if when you get to training at some point in your life, right? Or when you're doing it now, you have to make sure that you block off time every day for your own self-care, for your own mind, right? And it's stuff that you already been doing, even if it's drinking wine. Like I'm not going to necessarily drink a lot of wine right now. It's 7:12 p.m. Mountain Time, but I'm going to tonight for sure. So I love wine. Um, but again, most of us, not most of us, I'll say, yeah, a lot of us have had a life prior to coming to this, right? Again, for me, I was the assistant chief instructor, I was a flight training manager. I had a routine, right? I had a routine where it was, I'm working out X amount of times a week, I'm meditating every day, eating this nutrition, I'm flying this, I'm doing that. Like I knew my routine to a T. But then when you go to a brand new spot and start brand new training, right, you have to bring with you stuff that you can bring with you and not clothes, i.e., routines, right? Well, what can I bring with me? Well, I know I love to exercise and be active. I can bring that, right? It's a stupid thumbs up again. I know I can meditate here, right? I know I can get good sleep and I know I can ballpark kind of match my nutrition to a degree. So I feel good, right? Because again, if you're not doing those things for yourself every day that are important to you, that make you feel good, right? You're not going to be as successful in training, right? You're going to have to work twice as hard. And that's why I'm making this video too, especially because I've noticed that on the days, especially the past week or two, right? On the days that I don't, you know, at least get like a half hour walk in, right? Or I don't get a walk in, I don't get my strength training in, I don't eat as good, or I don't sleep as good, or I don't meditate, right? Those days are a really major struggle for me when it comes to retaining information and wanting to be there and write stuff down, right? There was a what was it? I think it was last Friday, like I didn't sleep well this past Thursday night, and Friday came and like I couldn't pay attention, or I could, but it was like extra effort to pay attention and it was hard, right? So you have to be mindful about the little things that make you happy, right? You have to be mindful about what you can bring with you to keep some kind of normalcy when you're going through training. If you don't, it's going to be really hard to adapt. It's going to be hard to pay attention. It's going to be really hard to be successful. Um, so today, right, got through procedures training today, which was awesome. I got the next 6 days off, which is great. But it's not 6 days off, right? It's 6 days where I have time where I need to really focus on cultivating some weaker points that I might have missed, right? Which I missed a lot of things because of I was not caring for myself as much as I should have during the initial parts of training, right? So now I have to go back and restudy things and put more work in, which sucks, right? It's extra effort for no reason because now it's like you're going to start to fall behind a little bit when I should be focusing on the next stuff coming up, but I can't. I have to go back and do other things. So It's more of a this video is really like a not a warning per se, but like a kind of a get your shit together sort of deal. Um, get a good self-care routine down and make it basic, right? You need your self-care, you need your daily exercise and your daily meditation, whatever it is to you. Meditation doesn't have to be sitting here om style, right? It can be just going for a walk, right? That's meditation to you. Doesn't matter. But have that stuff, have those little things in order. So when you do start, you know, private instrument commercial and you're done with that, you go on to the 121, 135 world, you're able to bring some good healthy habits with you so you can maintain a good healthy mindset every day. Because the worst thing in the world is having to even lose one day or two because you decided you wanted to go off the rails or whatever. And now you're 1 or 2 days behind. Now you got to catch up, which sucks, right? Everyone else is pushing forward and you're back here. It's not a fun feeling. I'm telling you right now, it's not fun. Um, so be mindful of that. Be mindful of your self-care routines. Be mindful of bringing this stuff with you wherever you go, especially when you go to training. It's going to drastically help boost the effectiveness of your training, and it's going to drastically make you feel a whole lot better. Training is hard, right? It is a lot. It is a fire hose of stuff, but it doesn't have to be harder than what it is, right? That's on us. That's on you. That's on us to make something harder than what it truly is, right? It's everything, anything in life is going to be tough, right? But if you can dedicate a little bit of time every day to doing it, plus focusing on you, yourself, and I, right? I.e., your self care time, keeping your so simple habits, you're going to make training a whole lot easier, right? And it doesn't have to feel like this crazy big thing, you know? And hence why I want to make this video. Today, I got the procedures training and I've been just jonesing for a good workout. So I finally got a good workout in, finally got some good food in, and you just automatically feel way better. So now instead of like, I'm tired, I'm grumpy because I worked all day, I just want to go drink wine, right? I have energy to go study for an hour and a half, 2 hours, which, again, whoop de doo, good for me, right? Don't care, it doesn't matter. But you get my point, right? Focus on taking care of yourself so then you can A, take care of others, but B, make sure that as you take care of yourself, you're able to effectively maintain a healthy mindset and take in new information, right? And keep moving forward. So the 121 stuff's hard. We got like 2.5, 3 weeks left tops. Doesn't feel like it's that close to being done, but it is. I still feel like I know nothing. um, Even though I know, we've all of my classmates here. We've grown a lot over the past 6 weeks. It's been a wonderful experience. Super hard, but wonderful experience. But moving forward in this last 3 weeks, really going to focus on blocking time off every day for self-care time and doing stuff that makes you feel good and confident versus letting that stuff go to the wayside, right? Because you feel like you have to go study for hours on end, which I forgot to mention that in this video too. You also have to, when you're initially going through training, right, you have to figure out the study habits that work for you. So synopsis so far, right? A, figure out your routines and self-care routines and bring them with you wherever you go. B, no one's a loser. I'm just holding up this hand. It was weird. But B, figure out early what study habits work for you, right? Not everyone, you don't have to come to a hard training schedule, train for 6, 8, 9 hours a day, and then come home and study 3, 4 hours a night. They tell you to do that, but you don't have to if that's not you, right? Maybe you work better by, all right, I'm going to go take maybe I'm just going to go take some notes during my 8, 9 hour day. I'm going to come back home and study for an hour, hour and a half. Maybe that's what works best for you, right? That's what works good for me. I can't have that mindset of I'm going to, do this for 9 hours, go home, study for 4 hours, and then go to bed. Can't do it. Doesn't work. It's going to annoy the heck out of me. But what does work for me is a little bit every single day. And that's every single day. That doesn't mean Saturday, Sunday hits and I stop doing it. No, that just means I do an hour, hour and a half to 2 hours every single day. It's doable. I can still get my half hour of exercise in every single day. I still have time to, focus on other stuff that's important to me versus, 9 hours and 9 hours and 4 because someone told you to do that, right? No, figure out habits that work for you, right? Bring those with you. Don't change them, right? Because if it worked in the past, it's going to work now. And I have to keep reminding myself that even though I see a lot of my classmates that they might get home from training and then I see them go right back out to the hangar for 3, 4 hours where I'm sitting here thinking, am I doing something wrong? Because I'm just going back up to my room and studying for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. But it's what works for me. right? So figure out what works for you, what habits work for you, and don't change them, right? Once you get a routine down that works for you, that you're like confident, you're feeling good about, don't change it. Bring it with you wherever you go, because if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? So anywho, now actual synopsis is going into new styles of training, 121, 135 world. Get your self-care routines down. Don't change them, right? Positively change them, right? To a degree, right? But make sure you take them with you. And then B, figure out what your best studying habits are, right? How have you been most successful in the past studying? Bring that with you too. Yes, you'll make some adaptations a little bit. Maybe you might add an extra half hour in, or maybe you might have to adjust nutrition or sleep a little bit. Sure, you have to do stuff like that, right? But have the broad idea down and bring it with you, right? What's really gonna help you be successful. I can promise you. Other than that, folks, um, Monday night, I'm excited to come back to Minnesota tomorrow. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So, cheers. Have a wonderful Monday. Hey, balloons! Woohoo!